So they are letting people in at this time. They are only letting 80 people in because the capacity, including board members, is 110. That's unclear if that includes media or not.
Not with that look. Guys, you won't cry. Oh, I'm not saying.
All right, question. Will I be denied entry without an ID?
Not denied. We just
That's
have to wait
right.
till the side.
Okay. In that case, that's not my ID.
What is that, the credit card?
That was my credit card.
You trying to bribe me?
No, there's nothing in
You
that.
just recorded yourself trying to bribe me.
Yeah, I know, right? Put it in my damn pocket.
Come this way. It's right there in the small pocket.
Oh, thank you. I knew I put it in one pocket.
Hi.
Okay,
Thanks, sir.
All right. Now, if I was going to bribe you, I'd give you the key.
Yeah.
So I didn't catch your names last time.
My name's John.
You're John? Okay. Where are you within the district?
I work in the, both of us work in the curriculum.
Curriculum door. Okay. All right. Cool. And maybe reach out to you guys at some point.
And your name is?
John Waldenberger. All right. Thanks, guys.
That fly, right?
Sound check. Sound check. Check the feedback. Hmm? I don't know.
Walk back in here, I'm like, oh.
I mean, possibly. Camera for a second.
All charged up?
Yeah, so I was visiting a friend that had surgery and they had a bunch of sleep over there. So we going back and forth. But it was worth it.
I have it on my YouTube page. Yeah. But it's open to the public. I didn't really mean that. Just, but I have the link on my. I was running for our council, so I have it on my team page. It's it's my name, John. So it'll be on there. At least the link will be on there. Fuck, stupid. Yeah.
So right here, and I think it got me.
What did?
Your camera.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
maybe.
right here.
Oh yeah, you're fine. It's on the wide angle.
Please don't try the shot. Every once in a while, folks are getting a little hiccup on technology. So I'm trying to double down tonight. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another regularly scheduled meeting of the Souderton Area School District Board of School Directors. As always, thank you for being here. A couple reminders for the evening. Number one, it is a recorded meeting. You can see that rebroadcast on Comcast Channel 28 as well as Verizon Channel 46. Another reminder, there are public comment periods. One is for items on the agenda as well as items not on the agenda. The third topic I've covered for several years now, I'll continue to ask is, we may disagree with each other, we may have different feelings, but we are a community, we're all neighbors in some way, shape, or form, we pay our taxes. So please feel free to agree to disagree with someone else, but let's just try to conduct a civil meeting. Let's continue to talk about that here in another minute. With that being said, I'd ask that you please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, Taylor.
Brown here. Brown. Present. Brown.
Present.
What's that?
Present.
Formica. Here. Key. Here. Landis. Here. Nelson. Here. Wheeler.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, folks, as we begin tonight, a couple small announcements. First, I want to welcome the students who are in attendance this evening. It's very good to have you here. I see you kind of scattered throughout. During this meeting, just so you know, we focus on conducting the business of the school district and doing what we can to benefit you, the students. I understand some of you may be making comments on an item that is part of the agenda this evening, and we welcome you to do so. It is also my hope that you will see how meetings are run and how a community can come together despite differences. You may see instances this evening where we agree on a given item, as well as those where we do not. However, I have full faith and confidence you will see your community working together in a civil fashion this evening. To the entire room, I want to share the following. One, we must conduct the business of the school district, and we will accomplish that this evening. Number two, we all know what behaviors are expected in this meeting. Any outbursts related will not be tolerated. If they occur, you will be asked to leave. Since we have shared this expectation many times prior, this announcement will constitute fair notice for all. Additional warnings may not be provided. Number three, we all have the right to express our views and opinions, and there are many ways to do so. Many of you have shared that, be it through email, newspapers, news outlets, social media, or in person. However, we must keep moving forward. To help achieve this and help the civil meeting, we will limit public comment on non-agenda items to 30 minutes. If you have more comments than this amount of time allows, we will use a randomizer, much like we did last month. For those that may have comments on items that have not been shared at length in recent months, and if you are not able to speak at this meeting, please do join us again. At this time, I'm going to be asking our solicitor, Mr. Gilsbach, to address the public with a few legal updates that are important for us all here.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to address a couple of issues. We've had a couple of concerns raised prior to today's meeting, so I wanted to address those first and center. First and foremost, it's important to understand that unlike some other parts of the country, in Pennsylvania, school board meetings are not town meetings, they're not debates, they're not open forums. An agenda is set to go through, and we intend to do so. Public comment is simply that, it's an opportunity. The first public comment will be to agenda items only. And public comment is an opportunity for the public to share its views and concerns about proposed agenda items. It's important to understand that it's not an opportunity, well, certainly you can raise questions, the board is not expected or required to answer them. In addition to that, silence by the board should not be deemed as agreement or disagreement with your comments. It's an opportunity to address the board with whatever concerns you may have about items on the agenda. After we've done that, we want to make the board get through the agenda items. And it's important. I understand people hear about a variety of issues, but it's important we accomplish the business we need to do. There are certain things that only the board can approve, and the board needs to do those things. If you look at the agenda items, there are important items, including paying our bills, including various contracts and other things. It's important work that the board needs to accomplish. We have to respect that. In addition to that, there have been a couple of questions raised with respect to some of what we are proposing to do. So the first issue I wanted to respond briefly to is it is not permissible for the board, for members of the general public to demand that the board amend its agenda in the middle of the board meeting. In fact, there are very limited circumstances in which the board is permitted less than 24 hours prior to the board meeting to amend its agenda. Those are extremely limited circumstances. I mean, someone who has litigated that issue, as I almost every case on the Sunshine Act, the provisions of the Sunshine Act numerous times. The law is quite clear. Our ability to amend the agenda less than 24 hours after the meeting, before the meeting, is extraordinarily limited to very specific circumstances. There's some questions were raised about the location of this meeting. The case law is quite clear. The district is conduct its business. It is being done in public. We call it our public. Lots of people here. And the district's obligation is to provide a forum that will accommodate those folks based upon what you normally see for board meetings. And we conducted our board meeting in this particular forum. The vast majority of our meetings in this forum without issue. We believe it's appropriate. In addition to that, case law is equally clear that we can, and it is appropriate for us to limit the amount of time in which we will accept public comment on non-agenda items. We'll be able to on agenda items. And the board should have something to say about items that the board is going to consider. In terms of non-agenda items, case law is quite clear. We are permitted to make certain exceptions and we have certain time limits, and we are appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Gilsbach. All right, folks, we're going to jump into the agenda. We're going to start with our student spotlight. Dr. Gallagher, I think we're going to talk about our students and what we went with our teachers.
Yes, that's today's video. So, Mr. Fran, are you ready to
Yeah. This is gonna make your heart warm. A world without teachers.
Wow, that's a good question.
Actually, do not know. Not good. Oh.
I think a world without teachers wouldn't be good because personally my teachers play a big role in my life because they teach me everything I know, and without them, like even when they're not here for a day, it's so different.
You wouldn't know anything, like you wouldn't even know 1 plus 1. If there were no teachers, people would basically not know what to do because they've never been taught things. The kids were in school and mess up everything.
It would definitely be chaotic because sometimes kids just can't control themselves, and we know that since it's middle school.
You can do whatever you want.
I don't think you'd be able to have a purpose without having a teacher to guide you.
We wouldn't be prepared for the world at all. We would just go out there and not have any, we wouldn't have been taught anything.
They help us learn about the world. And once we're adults, we have to use that to fend for ourselves and help us.
I feel like a lot of the qualities that I possess come from all the teachers that I've had in the past, elementary, middle, and high school. So in a world without teachers, I feel like I personally would be a lot different.
I can't imagine a world without teachers because teachers, they can they help you with your goals, and if anything's wrong, they can cheer you up and make everything better.
We would learn nothing. Responsibility, and they won't be smart enough to teach their kids and their other kids.
For me, a lot of the teachers I had were always there for me, and they taught you things that even with outside of your education, they teach you things just about life in general. So without teachers, I feel like we would have a lot less lessons in our lives.
You won't learn much, and you won't have anything to do because you can't go to school, and what would you do on all that free time?
I feel like it would be rough because you wouldn't learn as much from your teachers and you would be distracted by your friends a lot.
So you basically need a teacher in your life to teach you. Like in pre-K, you go to pre-K, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade, and 11th grade, and 12th grade. And you go to college if you want to. But like a world without teachers, you'd have to learn on your own. You wouldn't have someone to help you or anything. Yeah, that's what I think. We wouldn't walk in straight lines. Everybody would get confused when people asked anything.
Thank you. Because of a teacher, I have become an avid reader, and I continue to challenge myself academically daily. Because of a teacher, I excelled in my leadership skills. I learned how to do essays,
How to spell and how to write words.
Because of a teacher, I am more honest with myself.
I learned what vowel teams were and how you use them in a word.
I now know the difference between ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Greece. Thank you. Because of a teacher, I learned how to be comfortable with other people that I'm not really comfortable with, because sometimes teachers put us in groups that we don't know or that we're not comfortable with, and I think that just got me out of my comfort zone.
I learned that to do spheres, and I learned how to do vertices, sides, and angles. I learned being kind is the best solution to every problem.
I joined a new club.
Thank you. Because of a teacher, I found my calling for art, and I'm able to make things that make me and others happy.
I learned how to be respectful and learn how to solve problems.
So I learned to take your time and use your brain, and if you mess up, then you can just scribble that out and write it over the scribble that you did. I learned how to do math with base 10 blocks and an open number line. Thank you because of a teacher that I learned cursive. Because of a teacher I learned chips. I have been encouraged to try harder on things that I have done wrong or need to improve, and teachers have helped me do better. Because of a teacher, I learned, and I think because of you. I've learned how I should live my life. I learned that I should be kind and treat others how I want to be treated. Teachers are what probably form your life.
Thank you to the teachers because I wouldn't be who I am without you.
They're no stress. And you know children, they tell you, us, by the way, what's happening at home, just so you know, but that's true to their word. And I came from a long line of teachers. My grandparents were teachers, my parents were teachers, and I'm the only one of four that chose the education profession, and they never looked back. Thank you, Mr. D.
Thank you, Dr. Gallagher. To our friends in the news media, I could have perhaps captured that, because I think that's what it's all about, and that's why we're here and why we serve. And Mrs. Luciani, I hope that rung true for you as well, representing our teachers, so thank you. All right, folks, next we're going to move on to the report of our student representatives. Where are you all at? All right, so folks, our student representatives each year, we get some new ones. They come in, they tell us about what's going on in school, from academics to athletics, you name it. Folks, if you would just introduce yourselves, what grade, your name, and your report, please.
Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm a senior. I was a student representative last year, and I'm going to be talking about what's happened recently before this meeting. So our year is off to a great start, and everyone is enjoying Red Zone and taking advantage of the early opportunities that school gives us. Back to school night was held on August 28th, and we had a great turnout with families showing up to meet their teachers and see what the school looks like. For marching band on September 14th, our marching band hosted a competition for several schools. And on September 21st, Souderton's band earned a second place in Quakertown, and the band will head to North Penn on October 5th for another competition. Sports, fall sports are off to a great start. We have 12 teams and over 500 athletes competing this fall. All the teams are working hard to prepare for the District 1 playoffs next month, and Colin's going to have an update on sports for us.
Hello everyone, my name is Colin Hughes. I'm a senior, and a couple of highlights consist of the field hockey team maintaining a record of 8-3. The boys soccer team has had the best start in over a decade with a 10-1 record and winning their first 7 games and winning 4 out of 5 SL matchups. The girls cross country team is 2-2 on the season and recently had a great performance at the Twilight Invitational. The boys cross country team has continued their strong showing from last season as they recently won the Twilight Invitational, which was comprised of over 20 teams. Varsity football is 2-3 at the midway point of their season. Junior Ben Walsh has thrown for over 787 yards and 4 touchdowns. Boys water polo has a 7-4 record, along with girls water polo having an 8-4 record. Cheerleading, varsity completed choreography for both traditional and game day routines. Girls volleyball is at a record of 6-5. Girls tennis is at a record of 7-6. And co-ed golf is at a record of 9-3. And I will hand it off to Rowan for the rest of the agenda. Oh, sorry, Amelia.
Just some other things. Oh my goodness. All the students attended the club fair on September 16th in the school gym, where approximately 70 clubs set up tables and presented their information to recruit new members. Post-secondary night was held on Monday, September 23rd, where Mr. Overberger provided information on the college search and application process. There was a college fair in the main concourse where approximately 85 colleges, universities, and military organizations participated and provided information to students and families. And there was also information for post-secondary employment options with Mr. Darcy.
Hello, my name is Rowan Aldrin, and I'm a senior at Souderton High School. To continue with news, Mrs. Moxon's creative writing students went to Peter Becker today for the Generations in 8 project. Students were paired with a resident for an interview, and they learned about the resident, and then they created an original piece. This piece will later be published. Later, the residents of Peter Becker will join us at the high school for a lunch and to review over their works. Coming up in Souderton, the students are getting ready for homecoming. On Friday, there's a pep rally to get ready for the tailgate that night, and then the football game against Penn State. That next day, Saturday, October 5th, is the homecoming dance. Next Thursday, there will be no school for students for the observance of Rosh Hashanah. On this day, several of the sports teams are holding clinics for non-high school students in the school district to get an inside look on high school sports. Thank you.
So guys, first I want to thank you, and this is a reminder for all of us, that's in the first month of school. And that's in addition to what you all go to school for in the first place, which is learning and everything else from an academic standpoint. So that's an awesome report. I appreciate it. I hope everybody found value in that as well. Randomly, Amelia, the first month of school, what's been the highlight for you personally?
Probably just my classes. I really enjoy my classes right now. I have senior privilege and I have AP classes. And I feel like learning and meeting with my new teachers has been really great for me, and it's been a good experience so far.
That's awesome. Ellen, voluntold. Amelia, definitely want to offer anything else?
I think I have to agree with Neil. The senior privilege has been very nice, especially since I have first block privilege. Even if I sleep in or wake up early, I can go into school and talk to some of my teachers, whether it's AP Physics or honor seminar. It's just really nice to have that gap in the schedule.
Absolutely. I mean, senior privilege is a privilege, right? So it's important always to keep ourselves grounded, right? To maintain, good grades. And I think senior privilege can, take it the long way, but also if you use it correctly, it can really benefit the seniors.
That's awesome. I think we got some sage commentary from the video and some great updates from our students. Thank you. If you're wondering what senior privilege is, ask your neighbors. They'll tell you, and you will quickly understand why it's a fan favorite. So we hope to see you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, at this time, we're going to move to public comment on the agenda items. Mr. Taylor.
We have David Rudowski on the topic of review.
Make your way up, please. Just a reminder your name, where you're from, and your
David Wisnowski, Southern Township. Ladies and gentlemen of the board and community members, as the president of the Southern High School Field of Dreams Baseball Booster Club, I'm here to encourage the board to vote in favor of the much-needed turf complex at our high school. Our booster club chose the name Field of Dreams because we hope that one day we would have a field that we can call our own. If you build it, they will come, has always been our theme. Our baseball team currently faces many challenges due to the lack of a proper field. They travel to an off-site complex, posing safety risks with unnecessary driving, and the district is constantly incurring rising costs to rent, maintain, and improve the field conditions that are far from ideal. Did you know we have a flat pitching mound? Because our home plate is actually lower than the surface of the playing field. We have one of the worst fields, if not the worst field of all, in the Suburban 1 district. Our fall sports teams, field hockey, football, and boys and girls soccer, which many are represented today, would also benefit from a new turf complex. Let's not forget the musical programs that also fight for time on the field. A new field would provide a safe, reliable, and high-quality environment, enhancing their performance and elevating our sports and musical programs. The addition of lights only adds extra opportunities for the field's usage, especially in the fall and early spring when the sun sets early. Our neighboring school districts have already come to this realization and constructed similar fields. We have the opportunity to provide the same benefits to our students. Now let's talk about the financial aspect of this investment. The cost of the turf complex represents approximately 6% of the overall district renovation plans. This is a manageable investment made possible because our debt services are falling off. This means we're nearing the end of our repayment schedule of our current debt, freeing up funds that can be reallocated towards this new project. This is a financially sound and responsible way to enhance our school's facilities. This was all clearly presented by the district's financial planner at the September 11th meeting. Imagine the transformation if we were able to build a turf complex right here at our high school. Firstly, it would significantly enhance team spirit and morale. Our players would feel more integrated into the school community, fostering a sense of belonging and pride. Secondly, a turf complex requires minimal maintenance, which would reduce costs in the long run. Thirdly, we're providing much needed additional field for all sports teams and musical programs to utilize. Lastly, and most importantly, it will ensure the safety of our students, reducing the risk of injuries caused by the current poor field conditions. Over the past 18 months, there have been numerous meetings to discuss this proposal and the financial impact to allow for public comment. I have personally spoken at 4 meetings, and there's never been one person to challenge or suggest otherwise. As we approach this vote, it's crucial to remember that the welfare of our students should be our top priority. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your support in this endeavor.
On the topic of the turf field. Folks, if you see me kind of looking in the back, our timer's back there. All right, I don't see it up here, so kind of hear and agree that's the only reason I'm looking at the time.
Hello, everybody. My name is Connor Clark. I'm a senior baseball player at Souderton Area High School. I'm here to advocate for the construction of new purpose turf field. Currently, our off-campus field presents significant challenges with traffic, driving restrictions, and bus fees. An on-campus field would allow us to walk to practice, making it much more convenient and efficient. Our off-campus location also limits student attendance at games. It can be up to a 20-minute drive from students from Souderton to get to our games. An on-campus field would increase student support, boosting team morale and performance. This turf field would benefit all sports teams, providing a versatile and durable surface for year-round use, enhancing the overall athletic experience. In summary, an on-campus turf field would improve accessibility, increase support, and benefit all athletes. I urge you to vote in favor of this project. Thank you for your consideration.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Lutz and I'm a senior baseball player here at the high school. With our current field off campus, we have to drive there, which poses a high risk for accidents and being late. We also do not feel part of school, but it's fun for fans to come to our games. Having a turf field on campus ensures that games and practices can be held consistently no matter the weather, allowing our team to easily walk to the field instead of driving to. A turf field on campus also invites more spectators, students, families, and friends to come together to support athletes at a nice complex that enhances the game day experience. This not only fosters school spirit, but also strengthens our community ties, as well as gather to cheer for our teams. On behalf of all student athletes, we hope you will fully support this project. Thank you.
On the topic of turf field.
Hello everyone, my name is Josie. I'm a senior who plays softball at Souderton Area High School. We are here on the basis of whether or not we are going to vote for this new complex, and I'm here to show my support for that. So there are 2 things I want to address today while I'm up here, and the first thing is that it is more efficient and very effective to have both softball and baseball here on campus at Souderton because it helps show our support, athletes supporting athletes. It'll help Souderton athletics become more unified together as a whole, and that is not what we see at other schools, and that can help us be unique comparing us to other schools. And the second point that I want to address is the fact that turf fields are way more manageable and less maintenance compared to dirt fields. We have to consistently rake the dirt fields when the weather gives us challenges, and when we face weather challenges. Consistently raking these fields takes up time from not only our practice time, but our playing time as well. So transitioning over to turf fields can help us not only get our practices in, but also play more effectively. And yeah, so that's all I have for you guys. So I hope you guys vote in favor of this.
Alex Wisser on the topic
Alex Swisser, Upper Southford Township. I wanted to thank the board tonight for attaching many of the financial documents and contract proposals on the agenda for tonight's meeting. It's very beneficial for the public to be able to see the documents ahead of time. However, in the case of the multi-purpose turf field, much of the process was not that transparent. For the average district resident who cannot attend meetings regularly, finding the information about these types of projects is challenging. And since it's hard to get the information, it is difficult for everyone to understand the complexities of a decision and whether or not they think it is a reasonable use of their taxpayer dollars. There had been an email floating around last fall from a resident to Booster Club parents, which stated, and I quote, "The financial reports provided to the school board show that there will be zero, in all caps, impact to the taxpayers." As this email came out before the district committee meeting on September 11th, where the financial details were shared publicly, I am left to wonder how this person obtained such reports. Anyway, in the future, I hope that the board continues to attach the documentation to the agendas ahead of time and will start to fully utilize board docs as a repository for such documentation. Thank you.
Rosemary Dudenhofer, says on non-agenda public comment.
I'm using the agenda part of the comments to make a comment about non-agenda comments. Wanted to mention, I watched the live stream of your August meeting.
Yes. I won't take your time from you. Can you help me understand that a little bit more? It's agenda items for non-agenda items?
I have a comment about the public comments on non-agenda items. And since that's on the agenda, I thought this would be the appropriate time to make that comment.
Okay, just so it's fair, I'm going to defer to Mr. Gilsbach on my left to make sure that we're not going to step out over here. I'm just trying to understand to make sure it's okay. I don't want to shut you down halfway.
Do you want to comment on the agenda item of non-agenda?
Yes.
Comment?
She's not wrong.
Rosemary, let's give it a whirl. If you don't mind, we might have to defer.
All right, yes. Because I was traveling in August, and so I watched the live stream of the August meeting, and I was struck by the fact that so many people wanted to speak during non-agenda public comment at that August meeting. I'm sure many of you were there. And so many people came to speak with you, share their opinions, and many of them did not get a chance to speak. I think it is the board's job to listen to the community. The people in this district are not a monolith. There's a growing diversity of viewpoints and opinions in the Souderton School District.
Rosemary, I'm going to have to ask you if you can tie it back to the agenda, please. It's not an agenda item, unless I'm not hearing it correctly. I don't think this is an agenda item.
Non-public comments are on the agenda. I have a comment about you limiting non-agenda comments.
That would fall, I believe, under public comment on non-agenda items.
Yeah, I think we're running kind of a field here. I mean, the purpose of the comments is as items that the board is going to consider.
Yes.
The board is actually, the board is not actually taking any action on non-agenda items.
So if it's about that, I can change you to the other card, and you can go into that if you want to, don't lose an opportunity, but if there's an agenda item, can we go to that, please?
I don't think you should limit non-agenda public comment time. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Wolfberger on activity expenses.
Yes.
Before I start on that, just want to let you know I have an objection as granted to me under my rights under the Sunshine Act.
But first, I'll make my question really quick.
Sure, then we'll handle the objection, we'll allow that as well. So
Yep.
please go ahead.
I just want to let you know ahead of time. I was trying to wait
Understood.
to appropriate time. My question specifically to the agenda item is, under the expenses that you're approving tonight for student activities, there is a line item expense that's going to the driver's education courses, saying that I guess you're paying $110 per student. My students enrolled in that course, and we had to pay $150. So I'm wondering where that extra $40 is going towards.
I would say if you want that answer, please come up to Dr. Gallagher. We can find it for you after the meeting. I personally don't know the answer to that question.
That's not a problem. I was just curious.
Understood. So are you now raising an objection?
I am now raising an objection, Randy.
Bear with me 1 second, Mr. Gilsbach, just so we don't cross this territory very often, folks. So are you raising under what, Mr. Wahlberger?
Under Title 65, Section 710.1, subsection C of the Sunshine Act.
Understood. So please state your objection in a succinct, clear manner, and then we will put it into the record.
I have it written out here. I just asked that you let me read it out, please.
The only thing I want to
I
say
had to think it out.
Gilsbach, the way it's told in the court, which is not in court, but an objection is supposed to be a very limited statement.
It just needs to be why you think it will violate sometimes.
Let me-
Sufficient to allow.
And then you just let me.
Really be able to be 1 or 2 sentences.
And well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Let me just say it, okay? At the 9/11 committee meeting, you required individuals to present identification prior to entry. This was not advertised in any capacity.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to stop you.
I would like to not be interrupted. Thank
I
you.
apologize, but no, the Sunshine Act permits you to raise an objection to a purported violation of the Sunshine Act.
Yes, which is what I'm doing right now.
Occurring at this meeting.
Mm.
So talk about some.
It ties into this meeting, thank you. I mean, please just let me finish.
No, I'm not.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't, let me speak. This is my time as a taxpayer and a citizen, that I have a chance to exercise my rights, and I would ask you to not deny my rights. Thank you.
Sir, I'm not trying to.
I could have actually finished what I wanted to say by now if I was not interrupted.
Mr. Wahlberg, let's look at this in a mutual way. So cancel the timer if you would, please. We'll get rid of the timer. Let Mr. Gilsbach try to help direct. And then if he's going to be the legal expert, which I am not, then he will finish it off. So Mr. Gilsbach, please offer your statement.
Sure. What we need is a statement of the nature of the objection set succinctly. First of all, it has to be recorded in the minutes, so it needs to be succinct enough for us, as well as succinct enough for the board to understand. It really should only be 1 or 2 sentences. That should be sufficient for us to have an understanding of what the nature of your objection is. And again, I'm not trying to stifle you, but the objection has to be related to a reported violation occurring at this meeting.
Okay.
So and that's why I stopped you. You started talking about a previous meeting. And again, it's not a speech, so if you could just say what it is you think the board is doing that violates the Sunshine Act and why you think it does, as succinctly as possible, we can record it, and the board can figure out if it's if we raise an objection, we agree, we can figure out what we do with that, but also we can move on.
Anyway, all right, I'll give the summary, and I would like to, first of all, part of it is the advice from the solicitor. Second is, again, yes, because it's also tied to the last meeting and this meeting as well, requiring identification. And the third part is the denial and refusal of allowing a citizen to bring forward an issue that needs to be added to the agenda and that is covered under the Sunshine Act. And I would like to give my explanation and be heard because I was denied that right last month as well.
And I think Mr. Wahlberg.
And that's what I have written out here, and I would just like to read what I have written for you to understand and hear.
I'm going to ask
Because you've ignored my emails all week.
Mr. Wahlberg, and I have an opportunity, thank you. So at this point, you've noted an objection. You've noted why your objection is.
I did not get to give the explanation of my agenda, my objection. I would like to give the explanation.
Note the objection into the record.
That's not enough. There needs to be.
If you would like to see Mr. Wallenberger something in writing, I will make sure Mr. Taylor has that as the secretary.
I sent several emails this week.
And I think that the legal folks have been clear, but Mr. Gilsbach.
I would like to be heard, and I would like it to go officially on the record.
Mr. Wallenberg, I'm trying to work with you.
I understand, but I would like it to be on the record in detail.
Mr. Wallenberg, you gave your objection. We are entitled to, I'm sorry. We're obligated to hear your objection because you referenced it.
But you're not hearing because you're not letting me fully give my objection.
Noted. If you want to submit it in writing, you're welcome to do that. We will make sure it's appropriately attached. That's all we can do for you, sir.
All right, then you are in violation
Mr. Wahlberger,
of the Article 1, Section 20 of the state constitution.
Not only more than sufficient time, but thank you for your comment. And as promised, it will be put into the minutes that you had an objection and you were heard.
I will, I'll email it, but this, I would like to give this to the secretary to include as part of the objection. This is the, I just want to let you know what it is. This is the resolution that I just wanted to ask for.
Please, you have to stop.
All right.
And you can please hand it to Mrs. Balkin and she'll.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll just make sure I have all the copies. There's enough copies for other board members if they would like to bring it up. The top copies for the secretary.
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah. We have Bridget Holly on the topic of turf project.
Good evening. My intention this evening is not to question or argue for or against the turf. I think our students did a fabulous job advocating for what they want. My questioning tonight is for our school board members and how they're making decisions that are in the best interest of our students and our taxpayers. Unfortunately, without the board going on public record with a request for Mr. Formica's resignation, it has caused this taxpayer to distrust our board. So I have this, okay.
Let her speak.
So as I have been informed by Mr. Taylor, the proposal being considered is part of a cooperative purchasing agreement. When used, a district is not required to put a project out to bid. Mr. Taylor, thank you for answering my questions today, and in writing, you stated that the board is confident that it is receiving an appropriate proposal. However, when I asked how the board came to this conclusion, I did not receive a response. The proposals containing pricing from just one manufacturer. Did the board request pricing from competitive manufacturers through the purchasing co-op? I only found out about this project a couple days ago, and I was able to obtain an installed price for the lighting piece of the project, which is 20% of the project. That's $165,000 less. I know when I make a big home project, I shop it. There are multiple projects in this district currently being bid, and on those projects, competitive pricing is being assured. Why not on this project? Furthermore, we have just entered the part of the economic cycle where the Federal Reserve is reducing rates. Most economists believe rates will be much lower in a few months. This could significantly reduce the debt service on this project. Wouldn't holding off for a relatively short period of time to take advantage of lower interest rates be an example of being fiscally responsible? Even if the bonds are callable, this process with underwriting new ones would add cost to the taxpayer. My other question is, has there been any thought given to fundraising from the community to pay for this project? I grew up in Boyertown, a place known for baseball, where the stadium used for the American Legion World Series was funded from the community. In fact, I think students could sell dinner and snacks out there tonight to people that could come in and make a lot of money. All of this leads me to question if this project is being rushed. Knowing that there's at least one board member who's with a child that plays baseball, you have to question if there are also conflicts of interest. For a board that prides itself on fiscal responsibility and pats itself on the back for negotiating contracts that pay our teachers and staff less than surrounding school districts, you have to wonder, where is the fiscal responsibility on this contract? We already know you do not have the courage or the character for to ask for Mr. Formica's resignation. Now it looks like you've forgotten your value of fiscal responsibility.
So my name is Holly. I am the mother of a senior baseball player and a sophomore softball player, and I am just here to voice my opinion that I am in complete favor of this turf field that will be multi-purpose for multiple sports. This is for the kids. It is a safer option versus them having to leave the school quickly and interfere with the buses and oncoming traffic. It's nice to have them on campus. They deserve this field, and it would be nice to get this up and running without any further delays. Thank you.
That's all we have on the agenda. All righty, thank you so much. Move on to report of the president. Executive sessions. An executive session was held on Wednesday, September 11, 2024 to discuss legal matters. That session lasted approximately 45 minutes. The executive session was held prior to tonight's meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters, including staff appointments and resignations, and that session lasted approximately 30 minutes. Dr. Gallagher, over to you for your report as well as.
Well, our student reps, as usual, took a lot of my content, but I am going to be participating in homecoming activities next week. I will not dress in some of the themes of the week. There's barbecue bad, soccer wrong, or something like that. I don't know, guys, you know, you may have already heard what they are. I'll just be dressed like this, okay? But I will be participating in that football game. I'll be on the sidelines cheering our team on. And who's going to the homecoming dance? I'm trying to get Oreo. Okay, that's my report.
Thank you. Just want to roll in, please.
Sure. At this time, I would like to recommend to the board that they approve the consent action items 7.2 to 7.17 as presented. Board members are invited to remove an item from the consent action agenda if further discussion is needed. Items on the consent action agenda that are to be considered motions for approval are board meeting minutes, financial statements and check listings, approved requests for out-of-state and overnight field trips, approved personnel items, approved proposal for the construction of a high school turf field, athletic field, approved proposal for the lighting of a high school turf athletic field, approved resolution authorizing Act 34 hearing for West Broad Street Elementary School project, approved resolution to authorize the insurance of bonds, approved confidential settlement agreement and release, approved memorandum of understanding with the Souderton Area Administrative Assistance Association effective November 3rd, approved an employment contract appointing Michael Taylor to the position of Director of Business Affairs effective July 1st, 2024, and approved student expulsion.
Thank you, Dr. Gallagher. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please? Moved. Second. Moved by Mr. Nelson, seconded by Mr. Braccio. All those in favor, aye. Aye. All those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you so much. Moving on to future meetings, we do have a few as always. We'll share those with you. Wednesday, October 9th, committee meetings back here in this room at 6:30. Place there. Thursday, October 24th, SASD board action meeting, 7 p.m., much like this one. Thursday, November the 13th, committee meetings once again, 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, MCIU Board of School Directors, 6:45. If you're not familiar with that location, that's 2 West Lafayette in Norristown. Ms. Sack, you always attend MCIU. Any updates from that?
Yes, thank you so much. The MCIU meeting occurred last night, and there has been a new Discovery Center for preschool students that was approved. It's been in the works for about 3 to 4 years. You know how long those things take. But this happened in the month of October, and we're really excited to have that facility and open to the public.
This is looks like I was over the ground.
Yes.
And that's going to serve Souderton students for Head Start.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Report to the solicitor, Mr. Gilbert.
I do not have anything further.
Any unfinished new business from the board? All right, folks, so we're going to move over to public comments. Mr. Taylor, will we be random line, sir?
Yes, the list has been random. All right, I'll press you. All right, we have Corinne DeChiso on the topic of meetings and format.
Corinne, while you're coming up, I'll give her the get out of jail free card. Students, if you are perhaps bored in a meeting and you want to leave, you're welcome to. If you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. All student right away.
They don't understand that the vote was in their favor. The vote was in your favor, Alex. Hi, Corinne DeJaso, Upper Southford. I would like to again this month request that action and committee meetings be live streamed and archived indefinitely. This would better afford the opportunity for all community members to be engaged and informed, especially on an evening such as this, when the venue was not changed for this public meeting and only 110 people fit safely in this room. If we can live stream home football games, surely we have the technology to accommodate the very reasonable request to live stream committee and action meetings that I have made repeatedly over the last several months. I also wanted to share my concerns regarding Mr. Formica and why I feel he should resign. He and his supporters believe that this is political because the comment which he responded to was about Vice President, Kamala Harris. The reality is that this was not a one-off situation, but one of many disparaging and hateful comments made by Mr. Formica online. It just happened to be the comment that got the attention. When people learn that someone who lacks moral character is making decisions that affect someone they love, they are bound to show up, and in record numbers. As the mother of 2 teenagers in this district, I am aware of the many lessons that are taught to our children on digital citizenship. Learning begins in elementary school and includes topics such as online privacy, communication, news and media literacy, as well as cyberbullying. Mr. Formica is modeling the very behaviors our children are taught to avoid. If our children can understand what is and is not acceptable online behavior, surely an adult can as well. Unlike when we were growing up, our children are learning how to navigate an online world, and with this comes understanding consequences for behavior if they make poor decisions as digital citizens. Mr. Formica, as an elected official, you actually should be held to higher standards than the students in our district. This goes for all members of the board who disappointingly sit silent while the community expresses their concerns for this behavior. As elected officials, you are each supposed to represent the entire community. Instead, it appears that you condone Mr. Formica's behavior and non-apology. This is really about morals, not politics. Our kids deserve better. The teachers and the staff deserve better. And if this is a community where character truly counts and where citizenship matters, I ask that you urge Bill Formica to resign.
Vote on the resolution.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is the last place I expected or wanted to be tonight. But the truth about the divisiveness among so-called mature adults is a deadly cancer and needs to stop. Evil triumphs when good men and women do nothing. A willfully ignorant person is a corrupt government's best slave. Divided we fall, united we stand. Give me liberty or give me death. So how did we get here? Tighten your seatbelts. We got here by turning our backs on our loving God who created the family unit and graciously blessed us with his precious word, which we heeded and lived by, can bring about the innovation and character that made America the greatest nation in the world. Our current rebellion is placing us and our children under Satan's tyranny as we introduce more and more curriculum that will utterly destroy the moral character that we say is so important. This is nothing more than Satan's effort to destroy freedom by destroying the lives of the most vulnerable among us. When we reject God's word and discourage its influence in our children's education, we are destroying the foundations of where good character comes from. How far we have fallen, even here in Souderton, Pennsylvania. We are rapidly approaching perhaps the most important election ever, where the survival of our country is at stake as never before. One party has called it the battle for the soul of the nation, and I see that reality right here in our own school district. This election battle will take the country towards hell or towards heaven, and that is what is at stake this November. We have some candidates now who are willing to be used by Satan as they kill, steal, and destroy all basic dignity as they glory in murdering the unborn and sodomize the minds of our children through our tax-funded schools and institutions. May God have mercy on our souls. Have we forgotten what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Let's make character count on every level. Let's take responsible for our wrong behaviors and bad character, not just when it suits our agenda or our financial needs. Yes, Mr. Formica made a serious mistake. He has publicly and privately apologized and emphatically stated he will not resign. The board has also stated it is the only way a duly elected official can be removed. There'll be another election. My question tonight is, why are we wasting our hard-earned tax dollars when this time should be spent through the input of the public to the board to promote the wholesome education of our children, specifically reading, writing, and arithmetic to prepare our children for the success our great Creator has destined them to have. The only true answer is to put Jesus and prayer back in our country, schools, churches, and homes. In no way,
Free speech.
and under any circumstances, can we negotiate with Satan. Thank you.
Carol Luciani on the topic of Mr. Formica.
Good evening, Carol Luciani, SAEA President. I was not afforded the opportunity to speak at the last meeting since the board made procedural changes, so I thank you for the opportunity tonight to express my deep disappointment regarding the comments by Mr. Formica on social media. Such behavior is not only unprofessional, but also undermines the integrity of our educational system and the trust our community places in its leaders. As representatives of our school district, a community where character counts, board members are expected to model the values of respect, integrity, and professionalism. The comments made by Mr. Formica do not reflect these values and are particularly troubling given the influence the school board has on our students and the community. It's essential that all members of the school board set a positive example, especially in a time when young people are navigating complex social issues and looking to adults for guidance. Mr. Formica has called his post impulsive. One post could be considered impulsive, but unfortunately, this was not the first time he's taken to social media to denigrate others, so it's a choice he's making, not a single impulsive act. He has offended multiple groups in our community with his posts, but tonight I wish to focus on his offensive posts about teachers and the work we do. In November 2022, we had his "Why does everyone still gush over teachers" post. In February 2023, his "Teachers need to stay in their lane" post that mocks our educational training. In May 2023, he posted his answer to diversity training. Despite all of this, and one can only infer is great disdain for educators and the important work we do each day, the board unanimously appointed him to the school board. You appointed him to a position of policymaking and control over a system he seems to disrespect. I had hoped that after spending a year serving on the school board, a year seeing the important work that's done in our schools, a year seeing how dedicated our faculty and staff are, Mr. Formica's posts would reflect a change of opinion, but that didn't happen. Sadly, as recently as this past June, Mr. Formica posted that schools need to stop indoctrinating our kids. The first duty of a school board, as listed on Souderton's own webpage, is to profess a deep desire to serve children and a strong belief in the values of public schools. The district's mission statement includes, "We believe all deserve the opportunity to contribute and develop their individual potential in a safe, nurturing, and equitable environment that promotes respect for one another." Mr. Formica's derogatory comments regarding teachers and others do not demonstrate a desire to fulfill the responsibility of a board member, nor do they align with the district's own mission statement. This is a serious situation. Mr. Formica and the board need to take the necessary steps to rectify the damage caused by these comments. It's imperative that our community feels confident that those in leadership are committed to fostering an environment of respect and decency. Mr. Formica apologized to the board, administrators, and supporters, but he works for everyone in the district, not just those who voted for him, and everyone is owed an apology. Your actions, or lack their actions, will speak louder than the words on the wall behind you. Thank you.
We have John Waldenberger, I believe it's on Band Book Week. John's coming up, guys, we'll put flag afterwards, we curtail. Thank you so much.
What's that?
Good.
So I got this idea thanks to Mr. Stein last month. I'd like to read about a book that's about a fascist totalitarian government that uses the power of censorship and changing language, banning books, and controlling the thoughts of the population. This is a book that I read when I was a student here in 7th grade at Indian Valley. It had a very profound effect on my worldview as I got older. I never thought we'd be living in a world where it changed from becoming a warning of what not to do to an instruction manual on how to navigate fascism in the 21st century. This is a great book. I've edited it for brevity. He looked up. It was the girl. She shook her head, evidently as a warning that he must keep silent, then parted the bushes and quickly led the way along the narrow track into the woods. Obviously, she had been that way before, for she dodged the boggy bits as though by habit. The next moment, it was hard to say by whose axe she was in his arms. At the beginning, he had no feeling except sheer incredulity. And the youthful body was strained against his own. The mass of a dark hair was against his face, and yes, actually, she had turned up her face, and he was kissing her, the wide red mouth. She had clasped her arms around his neck. She was calling him darling, precious one, loved one. He had pulled her down to the ground. I'll skip a little bit here. I hated the sight of you, he said. I wanted to grape you and then murder you afterwards. 2 weeks ago, I thought seriously of smashing your head with a cobblestone if you really want to know. I imagine you had something to do with the thought police. The girl thought delightfully, evidently taking this as a tribute to the excellence of her disguise. So, I'll skip through. This book, in case you're wondering, is a great book by an author by the name of George Orwell called 1984. Just another quote here. Now I will tell you the answer to my question. It is this. The party seeks power entirely for its own sake. We are not interested in the good of others. We are interested solely in the power, pure power. What power it means, you will understand presently. We are different from the oligarchs of the past in that we know what we are doing. All the others, even those who resembled ourselves, were cowards and hypocrites. The German Nazis and the Russian communists came very close to us in their methods, but they never had the courage to recognize their own motives. They pretended, perhaps that even believed they had seized power unwillingly and for a limited time, and that just around the corner there lay paradise for human beings to be free and equal. We are not like that. We know no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. Power is not a means, it is an end. One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish a dictatorship. The object of persecution is persecution, object of torture is torture, and object of power is power. Now you understand me.
Dorothy Burney on the topic of cyberbullying.
Dorothy Kearney, Franklin Township. As many of the residents outside of this parking lot are aware, Mr. Schisler, there are no parochial schools in the Souderton Area School District. Members of the board, we have to assume by your silence that you're not bothered by Mr. Formica's cyberbullying. What is cyberbullying? It's defined by Moore's KidsHealth.org as the use of technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, or target another person. Online threats and mean, aggressive, or rude texts, tweets, posts, or messages all count. Our students are being held to a higher standard than leadership. Mr. Formica, take it from one of our students in the movie tonight. Kindness is the answer to any problem. Mr. Nelson, Ms. Lissack, Mr. Landis, and Mr. Braun, it's truly astounding to me that you're willing to risk your seats on this board just to save his. Be assured that we will not rest, and instead of crickets, our voices will be heard in the 2025 election. Thank you.
Folks, are you to offer on the topic of negative publicity?
Thank you. Rosemary Dukoff, I live in Souderton. The reputation of this school district has been damaged by the negative publicity caused by Mr. Formica. Instead of highlighting science fair winners, musical excellence, winning sports teams, and student achievement, we are known as the district that punishes students for bullying and refuses to censure or even criticize a series of crude, sexual, and degrading public posts by a school board member. At the August board meeting, a community member read into the record, for shock value, I assume, an excerpt from a novel that included vulgar language and racial slurs with no chastisement. So I would like to read a phrase that I have read that is much shorter and vulgar. She liked a lot of dudes. At the August board meeting, Mr. Formica apologized specifically to those who voted for him. I did not vote for him, but I am owed an apology also. I own a home in this school district, and my home value is tied to the reputation of this school district. Has this situation cost me any money? My 2 children are graduates of this school district, and they are embarrassed and angry that this matter has gotten so much negative press. Don't they deserve an apology too? School board members represent the entire community, not just the people who vote for them. Your mission is to work with the public, the administration, and the staff to make this district the best place it can possibly be for our children. When no one on this board makes a comment to condemn or criticize these remarks, it is fair to assume that you have no issue with the way this district's reputation is being continually damaged. Silence is complicity. Some members of the public are saying Mr. Formica has a First Amendment right to his speech, and he does. But I would like to remind the board that the 8 of you also have a right to free speech, and would any of you care to exercise that and let the public know how you feel about this situation? Thank you for your time.
Speak publicly.
Drew Shelley on the topic of equity, diversity, and inclusion.
Good evening. Drew Shelley, Lower Souderton Township. I first would like to thank Dr. Gallagher and all of our wonderful teachers for making sure that our students are still receiving the values that Dr. Gallagher has worked so hard to put in place here for our community. 3 years ago, a member of our community approached this body to discuss a documented achievement gap between students who were white and students who were not white. This body sidestepped many questions and silenced a few community members and presumably faculty, and have paid lip service to an initiative that was vaguely referenced in the comprehensive plan, all the while playing the victim, taking personal offense that we might be calling each of you racist. This body's response to a social media frenzy started by one of its members was to ask us for time and remind us that the comments or actions of an individual board member, administrator, or employee of the district do not represent the board as a whole, the administration, or others in our employee groups. But that's what this body is.
You are the elected representative of our community. My elected representative, whether I would ever vote for any of you or not. Each of you represent all of us, no matter what. No matter a community member's gender, race, religion, or social class, we volunteered and campaigned for this opportunity to serve them and the children of our district. Is this what you want our daughters learning at Souderton? That the only way for a child presenting as feminine to succeed is by sacrificing her morals, her sense of self, her safety to the men that stand in her way? Is that what you want for your grandchildren? Is this what we're teaching our sons? That people presenting as feminine are not capable of forging their own successes? This body does not want to be represented by its individual members, but rather than take swift action to correct this latest misrepresentation, you have taken no action for 57 days. As a business executive, a position I earned through diligence, conscientiousness, and ethical behavior, I would never take this long to deal with such a glaring public issue, even if consensus was required, especially if I felt like my organization was being so damagingly misrepresented. So whether this body or any of you personally are racist or not, misogynist or not, like it or not, you are represented by all of your members, and like it or not, you represent all of us in setting the path for our children in this district. So open your eyes and look around you.
Yeah. Take action.
I'm Fiscal. I live in Lower Southbury. I'm a freshman at Souderton area high school. I wasn't previously planning on speaking at the meeting, even though I strongly believe that William Formica should resign immediately. That is, until in my history class, today's last month's meeting, we were talking about government and different philosophers' views on it, and what would happen if we one day had no government or laws. While we were reading, I found a quote that I think fits the situation from John Locke. When a long train of abuse and mistreatment happens, it is the community and people's right. It is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. I'd also like to touch on the disrespectful things that Formica has said about teachers. As someone who has spent their whole life in this district, my teachers are some of the most hardworking, understanding, patient, and empathetic individuals I've ever met. As a disabled student who has had a tough time in school due to that and other social aspects, the wonderful teachers here are some of mine and others' biggest supporters and a big part of how I made it through elementary and middle school and to this point in my life. I don't know where I'd be without their continued support in and out of school. It hurts me deeply to think that there is a school board member that has power over them that does not feel the same. I added this part after William Formica gave his additional words at the last meeting for context. I want to preface this by saying that I don't condone the people giving him and his family death threats, but I'd also like to say that threats similar to the ones that I imagine he received, my friends and I get on a regular basis for being who we are. I have to prepare myself every day I go out into the world or go online to be threatened and or harassed. I imagine many of your tweets further perpetuated these feelings for people like me, as well as many other members of this community. We have listened for a response from the board, and all we have heard are crickets.
Listen to your students.
Hello, Laura, guys. That's going to be a hard one to follow up. It's pretty darn good. Very well spoken. But I grew up, born and raised in Telford. I bought my house in Telford after graduating college. I want to live here. I love where we live. But I'm upset with the direction that our town is going in.
Superintendent Frank T. Gallagher said in his email response over a month ago to the community outreach that words matter, respect matters. Our schools and offices must be spaces where diverse opinions are honored, but where respect is required. Unless you are a school board member. He didn't say that part though. My answer to diversity training would be to F off. The slaves used the skills they learned as slaves to their benefit. Why does everyone still gush over teachers? They have no accountability for their performance. Teachers need to stay in their lane. She blew a lot of dudes. We should bring lynching back, referring to judges that are in active positions. These are premeditated words publicly posted by a man with direct authority over thousands of children across our district. And I'm not even going to talk about his frankly weird and creepy non-apology he read at the last board meeting. Page 44 of the Souderton School District Handbook states, we strive to offer all students an educational environment free from bullying. The handbook, Board Policy 249, Board Policy 233, and PA School Code 1949, Act 14, all clearly outline school board member Wilfred Micah's actions as a punishable violation of policy if he were a student. More specifically, word for word from these policies, it must be an intentional electronic act or series of acts. It must be persistent, creating a threatening environment at an activity sponsored, supervised, or sanctioned by the school, which he was in his current position while making these comments online. Well, I'm not an attorney, but I would consider repetitive, premeditated, derogatory social posts directed at both a gender and race, which pertains to the student population of our district, to meet all of those requirements. And friendly reminder that 48% of our district is female, that's 3,000 students as of our last poll. 13% is non-white, that's 800 students, and 11.4% are non-native English speakers, that's 700 students, roughly. Furthermore, not only are his actions a violation of the aforementioned policies, clearly written, but a clear breach of Title IX codes, which the school district has failed to act upon. For many of his actions, regardless of intent, define harassment based on gender stereotyping, which is a Title IX violation. However, I hit it? Okay. Then again, as a Souderton School District taxpayer, what do I know? After all, I clearly put in a bill a lot of dues to get here.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I would like to thank the board overall for their dedication and patience in serving the positions that you're in. I have come to last month's meeting as a primary to support First Amendment's rights, as that is such a critical aspect of this country, and the fact that anybody's First Amendment rights, if they get eroded, anybody's First Amendment rights can be eroded. And there's nothing in the Constitution that guarantees us a freedom from being offended. The overall aspect of the First Amendment to me is the ability to let people speak. I know at the last meeting, one of the problems that we saw was the people in opposition would not let the other side speak. They were rude, they were trying to shout them down. And when they're the ones saying that character counts, I think that was an extremely bad example of it. So I think that one of the things that I wanted to get to was just, if we look at a parallel situation here, recently at Cornell University, there was a professor, and excuse my voice here, on October of last year, he basically had been out at a political rally and stated that he agreed with the Hamas killings of the people in Israel. After that, he claimed he apologized. Cornell University basically, I guess, had words with him. He took a short leave of absence. And then basically what the university said is consistent with well-established principles of academic freedom. Cornell has a process for considering whether public statements such as those expressed off campus by Professor Rickford at a political rally, all under the category of protected speech, or rather demonstrate prohibited bias, discrimination, or harassment. Given that Professor Rickford's comments were made as a private citizen in his free time, the university's academic leadership has concluded that Professor Rickford's conduct in relation to this incident did not meet that high bar. And based upon that, Professor Rickford is back to teaching under zero punishment. And he was basically agreeing with people who were killing innocent civilians. Thank you.
Mr. Keith, we've reached the 30 minutes. Would you like me to call on the end of this?
I think we can do one more. I think it's fair, so to speak. So let's finish with one. If we hit our 30, we're going to go a few minutes over. One last speaker.
Alex Swisser on the topic of Formica.
Alex Wisser, Upper Southford Township. I want to begin tonight by addressing the board's refusal to change the venue for tonight's meeting. Ignoring the situation with Mr. Formica or making it harder for people to attend does not make it go away. It simply shows your disregard for the concerns of many in this community. And let's be clear, a Sunshine Act violation is still a violation no matter how you justify it. As for the calls for Mr. Formica's resignation, they are not about politics or reversing an election. This is about holding a public official accountable for their actions and doing what is right for our district. Mr. Formica should resign, and the board should conduct a transparent process to fill his seat, a process I know has been used in the past, even though it was skipped when Mr. Formica was appointed last year. His actions on social media and behavior at last month's meeting show a lack of remorse and a refusal to act in the best interest of our school district and community. The fact that there have been no official consequences proves that this entire board has chosen politics over ethics. And honestly, that is the saddest part of all of this. Mr. Formica has never hidden his character, but I can't believe that there isn't one other person on this board who has the decency to demand accountability of their fellow board member. Souderton board.
Vote on the resolution. Vote on the resolution.
All right, folks, that is public comment for this evening. This is non-conference questions from the board. If not, we concluded our agenda. Madam Clerk, please adjourn. Second by Barnett. All those in favor, aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Have a good night, folks. Good job, board.
Oh, beautiful sounds of crickets. I love it. Beautiful sounds of crickets. I love it. Oh, I thought it was actual crickets too. I thought it was different. I got excited. I'm continuing to live stream for safety reasons. So. Just so you guys are aware. Right now, just out of curiosity, were most of you the ones that were rejected from coming inside?
None of us were inside.
None of you were inside.
There was about 60 people outside.
60 people? Lovely.
And none of them were Antifa, because I asked everyone in line if they were Antifa.
Wait, you're not Antifa? That's true. So are you for fascism or against fascism?
No, I mean, there were folks who were against fascism, definitely, but there was no one formally from Antifa.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I wish others would understand that.
I knew. You did not have to go home. Hey, you did not have to go home and get it. I did not know I was going to be in that. So my husband's party. Sorry. Oh, what? I don't know where they are. Oh, wait, yeah.
She got mad at me for recording. Now she's recording me. She got mad at me recording her last month, or 2 months ago. Now she's recording us. But see, I don't have a problem being recorded because I didn't say that the vice president had to blow a lot of dudes to become vice president. And you can quote me on that.
I know, but I gotta find
Snacks, love it. In case anyone is wondering, the meeting is over. I am strictly staying out here, continuing to record, just for safety reasons for all the individuals that are here.
Hi, nice to meet you too. You're awesome. Thank you. Have you ever And then is I forget, the meeting tomorrow or is it next week? No, I think there's a different one. It might be
I'm not leaving. What? No, I didn't say it was. I said I don't. I added I don't have a problem with it. So anyway, I'm continuing to record for safety reasons. I do have the audio on just in case anything pops.
I'll go down there.
Yeah, no, I wasn't complaining about her recording. I was pointing out the hypocrisy that she not like me recording her while she is recording me at this time. But I have no problem with her recording me.
Yeah.
We're in a public place.
That's what I said. She said the difference was that was the difference. She'd asked you not to.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I said you're in public. She's like,
Yeah.
we're good. And I was like, okay, well, you're doing it now too.
Yep. Nope. Not a hypocrite at all.
Gets the shit started.
How you doing, Scott?
Hey, how are you? Back over to help sign.
Try, Scott.
Hey, he's what I go to the meeting.
But the reality is, I'm still.
Thank you. You too. Let me mute this for a second.